So as I'm working to try to make sure I'm getting out content faster, it's easier if I do it this way where you actually don't get to see my face. So I apologize for that. So I guess you can say this is a podcast form. But I woke up to this news this morning. It actually broke last night. I was out last night. You know, Sunday nights I be in bed early because, as you know, I covered boxing the other night and I was up until like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, you know, something's been fishy been going on here with this Canelo situation, and I gotta be honest, it's looking real bad, man. It's looking real bad. So it's looking like Canelo is going back to Matchroom Eddie Hearn and the Zone, and he's looking to fight Haymon Munguia and Edgar Berlanga this year in May and September, and something has to be announced soon because, well, March is this Thursday, as it is February the 26th. 2024. It's a leap year this year, so the first is on Thursday. It's Monday. TstreeT Controversy with Fight View 360. Very credible source right here. Salvador Rodriguez. Been following him for years. I'm talking about since probably like I was, I don't even know how long I've been following him. It's been years. Like probably since 2010, if I'm being honest, since he's been on Twitter. But anyway, looks like he's done with PBC. It's looking like they can't secure the money for him that he wants. According to Rick Glosser, basically Canelo doesn't want to be on a payment plan. He wants all of his money up front. And PBC has been known for years to pay fighters on the back end. And checks come in. You know, you always hear fighters, or you used to hear like, well, you know, they don't know about the Al Haymon checks. They keep coming in every month. Deontay Wilder once went on the record to say that, you know, he wanted his money up front. He don't understand why I got to come down trickles at a time. Floyd Mayweather even alluded to it, talked about it actually in somewhat detail. But to lose Canelo when they're trying to launch on a big platform like PBC, on Amazon Prime, it's like, if I got to be honest, like this is the most down PBC has ever been, in my opinion. You know, remember, we're March. They haven't had not one fight in January or February. They haven't had a fight since, what, December the 16th? They got Keith Thurman taking on Tim Tszyu. That's going to be on March the 30th. That's in 33 days. We don't know who the broadcast team is going to be for Amazon Prime. We don't know what the pay-per-view price is going to be. We don't know who the commentators are going to be. We have no shoulder content. Remember, shoulder content is like all access, face off, like little, social media content. Where's the PBC on Prime content? Nothing. Now, I always tried to look at myself as being non-biased. You know how it is when you're a YouTuber. People say, oh, you got to have allegiance to this. You don't say this about this, that, this and that, and this and that. This is really ugly, and it's cause for concern. It's already bad enough that they're starting off their deal with Keith Thurman on, by the time he steps into the ring, on a 25-month layoff, taking on an Australian and Tim Tszyu on American pay-per-view. That's going to do nothing on pay-per-view. I'd be shocked if that shit does 150,000 pay-per-view buys. And that's on the high end. Look at their social media page. Nothing. They haven't even promoted, like, nothing on no Amazon platform is anything about Thurman versus Tszyu. Nothing. Nowhere. The press conference, as we talked about, seemed rushed. Like they just slapped it together. Jimmy Lennon, was the host. There was no type of billboards or anything. Remember when PBC launched on ESPN, on NBC, on Spike? Remember when they relaunched on Fox? Remember when Showtime used to have them big galas with all the fighters there? They would announce the big fights all at one time. Remember that shit? Let me show you. Let me pull up something real quick. Take your time out. Like the video. Subscribe. I'm TstreeT Controversy with Fight View 360. By the way, I do strongly feel that Canelo wants no parts of David Benavidez or no parts of Terrence Crawford. He wants to fight for about five more years or so, give or take. And he ain't ready to pass the torch. And maybe he may feel like, yo, I see what y'all doing. Y'all trying to feed me to David Benavidez and have him make his name off of me so y'all future can be secure. So, sheesh. But Edgar Berlanga, man, I don't want to see that shit. And I can understand why people are going to say it's a duck. I'm not going to disrespect Canelo saying he ducking Benavidez, but it ain't looking good. It ain't looking good. It looked like he don't want it. And David Benavidez is huge. That's a huge task for Canelo to be able to overcome. And frankly, I feel that Canelo's a 168 pounder masquerading at 168 pounds. And the WBC will never strip him. They scared to death of Canelo. And they're not going to order him to do anything because they don't want him to bend and throw their belt in the trash. Didn't Miguel Cotto burn him for fees, sanctioning fees when they tried to order him to fight Golovkin? They can't do that to the Mexican superstar. Let me see. Showtime. Let me see if I can find something. Boxing schedule announcement. Remember they used to have them big ass galas, and we used to be looking at the schedule like, oh man, this is something else, man. That shit's gone. That shit's gone. That shit's long gone, Jack. That shit's long gone. Look at the shit they used to be announcing. Like Danny Garcia, Brandon Rios, David Benavidez, Ronald Corral, Wilder Ortiz, Laura Hurd, Santa Cruz Maris too. It may seem like, but still, we had something. We used to do this. And now we got cheap, nasty looking cheap podiums. Here, I'm gonna pull it up for you. And this is the truth. They don't like what I've learned in my time in boxing media. I forgot how that quote goes. Somebody put it in the comments. It's a quote about when you're media, something along the lines of printing what they don't want to be printed. That's the purpose of media, talking about what they don't want to be talked about. Like, the shit looks cheap. It looks rushed. And I said this a year ago. I remember, the head of PBC Media, I forgot his name, Kenneth Bahari. Cool dude. We had some discourse, on social media. But he got mad and unfollowed me because I posted some shit that was true last year about how PBC was building up their portfolio with all those big fights last year. All of them pay-per-view, by the way, so they can, and all those signings, so they can go get an Amazon Prime or a new TV deal. So they'd be able to go to be like, look, we put on this big event. We got Canelo, we got Errol Spence, we got this guy, we got Terrence Crawford. And then they can go and say, look, this is what we bring it to the table, Amazon, what y'all got for us. But it's struggling right now. It's not looking good unless we hear something in the next couple of weeks. Because remember, Tim Tszyu, Keith Thurman, they got to start promoting now. It's 33 days away. It's on March the 30th. It's their big first PBC on Amazon Prime event. And can they afford to put this event together on their own? PBC, from my understanding, is footing the bill. It's footing the bill. Do they have the money? Do they have the fighters or the capital to be able to get a loan and be able to have the money? Look how, let me show you this real quick. It just looked cheap. And I was looking at this, I was like, no way, PBC. Y'all used to be, come on, man. When they first used to launch, it used to be like a real big thing. Look, nothing on, look. Dingy podium. Yeah, they got the digital banners and everything. This is a good card, by the way. I love the card. Don't get me wrong. You got Thurman versus Tszyu. Intriguing fight, 155 pounds. That's because Keith Thurman's not ranked by the WBO, so the title can't be on the line. So they said, fuck it, 155. You got Rolly Romero versus Isaac Olmec Cruz. You got Disco Inferno, Sebastian Fundora taking on Sergey Bahachak. You got Iris Lady Lara taking on Mixer Rafa. Don't be surprised if Mixer Rafa win too. He's up and down. You never know with him. But Lara's legs have been slowing down. It's just crazy. Like, how do you lose Canelo? Now, the Edgar Berlanga fight, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to shit all over that fight. I'm going to cover it. Yeah, okay. But it doesn't mean it's a good fight. Why can't I say it's not a good fight? Canelo shouldn't be fighting him. It looks real bad. I can see Haymon Munguia, okay? I can see Haymon Munguia. It's like, all right, cool, all right. It has some intrigue to it. But Berlanga, hell no. Berlanga, in his post-fight interview, said he was having fucking nightmares about Patrick McCrory, an Irishman. You having nightmares about that cat? And that's what the belief. No, And also, what's going to happen when Edgar Berlanga gets frustrated? Is he going to try to cannibalize Canelo? You know he's a cannibal. He like biting people and shit and elbows. Better not do that to Canelo. But it's just ugly, man. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. So we're expected to hear an announcement soon. And here's the thing. He was supposed to have signed a 3-fight deal with PBC. Ain't fighting none of them. Apparently, the Charlo fight wasn't going to sell. It wasn't going to sell. I like that fight. I ain't going to lie. That's my preference. Y'all know how y'all have fights that y'all like that other people like, ew, why you like that? I like Canelo Charlo. I know it ain't going to sell shit. And by the way, the WBC needs to strip Charlo too. But we knew that David Benavidez fight wasn't coming. And apparently there was this rumor of a $55 million offer, all this type of stuff. Canelo probably was like, put up the money, let me see it. I can't wait to see how this plays out because this is just the beginning. I'm going to be following this story for sure. For sure. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. I am TstreeT Controversy with Fight View 360.